October 2025 marks the lowest October in 27 years since 1998. Thanks for tuning in to this weekend's box office winners. Now, before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss what movies are killing it at the box office. Now, let's dive into the numbers. To start off, let's continue our conversation because Hollywood is sweating as it has had its lowest October ever since 1998. As October 2025 only brought in about $440 million domestically, which is less than 1998's $455.5 million October Q. It's also the lowest weekend of the year so far, as Halloween weekend brought in only $49 million, with many attributing this to Halloween being on a Friday and the final World Series game between the LA Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays being on Saturday. Now, it's also worth mentioning that this month didn't really have big tentpole movies, as Mortal Kombat 2 was supposed to release last weekend, but ended up moving to May 2026. Also, I feel very strongly about this, but I wish that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 released last weekend, as Mortal Kombat 2 vacated that spot, because the December release for FNAF 2 just doesn't seem right. And also, why would Universal vacate October when the first Five Nights at Freddy's film made $80 million, and the sequel is tracking to open lower at about $60 million? Now, besides that, we also had a big disappointment with Tron Ares, which was supposed to be a big film for Disney. However, we did have some solid, smaller hits in October, like The Black Phone 2, Taylor Swift's A Life of a Showgirl movie, and Chainsaw Man. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. Now, the biggest October ever in the domestic box office belongs to 2018, where we saw big releases for A Star is Born, Venom, and Halloween 2018. And combined, those three films made $481 million domestically, which is more than the entirety of October 2025. Now, this September really surprised us with The Conjuring Last Rites and Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, but October fell flat on its face. Let's see if November helps reignite the spark in moviegoers. Now let's take a look at what every movie posted this Halloween weekend. In first place, it was a tight race between The Black Phone 2 and Regretting You, but Paramount seems sure that Regretting You will come in at number 1 this weekend, with $8.1 million in its second weekend and dropping a healthy 41% from last weekend. The film had a budget of $37 million and has made $27 million in the States and $37 million globally, meaning that the film is likely to break even and turn a profit once it's on digital. In second place was The Black Phone 2, making another $8 million in weekend number 3 and dropping a good 38% from last weekend. It's the best hold in the top 10, and of course that's due to this being a horror film during Halloween weekend, and maybe that means word of mouth continues to spread. The film has made $61 million domestically and $95 million globally, but it seems that the film won't be able to surpass or even match the first film's $161 million global tally. At number 3 was anime film Chainsaw Man, the movie Rise Arc, which made $6 million in its second weekend and dropped a good 66%. Now, like I said, this isn't a terrible hold and it's not a great hold, but it's a good hold for anime films at the domestic box office. For comparison, Demon Slayer Mugen Train dropped 69% in its second weekend, and Demon Slayer Infinity Castle dropped 75% in its second weekend. However, that film opened way bigger. Chainsaw Man, though, is already the 6th highest grossing anime film in the States and has made $30 million domestically and $121 million worldwide, showing the true strength of anime worldwide. At number 4, there are conflicting numbers, with several box office websites not showing K-pop Demon Hunters in the mix, due to Netflix not specifically reporting the numbers, but the trades are reporting it, so let's include it here. So at number 4 is K-pop Demon Hunters in its re-release, making $5.3 million. Now, many were expecting this number to be way higher due to AMC now participating in showing the film, but it seems that people who dressed up as Huntrix decided to go trick-or-treating instead. At number 5 is newcomer Bugonia, which expanded to more theaters this weekend and made $4.8 million. The film received an OK B Cinema score and a low 53% definite recommend on PulseTrack, and it also leaned male at 61%. Diversity demos were 53% Caucasian, 24% Latino/Hispanics, 7% Black, 7% Asian American, and 6% Native American. At number 6 was another re-release with Back to the Future, making $4.7 million. And premium formats helped a lot, as $1 million of the gross came from IMAX screens alone. Now, I really wanted to catch this in theaters, but like many, it was a very busy weekend. At number 7 was Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which made $3.8 million in its second weekend and dropped a harsh 57%. The film has made $16 million domestically and $30 million globally, showing that biopics are very hit or miss. At number 8 was Tron Ares, making another $2.8 million in weekend 4 and dropping an okay 43%. At this point, there is no saving this film in theaters, and Disney better hope that people want to buy this film on digital before it hits streaming. The film has made $67 million domestic and $133 million globally. And number 9 was another newcomer with Stitchhead making $2.5 million in its opening. Now, I received a screener for the film and saw it early a couple weeks ago, and it didn't impress me that much and it seemed more of a streaming film. And at number 10 was Good Fortune making $1.4 million, dropping a harsh 55%. And that wraps up this weekend's box office, as we saw the lowest weekend yet of 2025 and the lowest October in 27 years. Let me know in the comments what movie, if any, did you see in theaters this weekend? And don't forget to like and subscribe and tune in next weekend, where Predator Badlands hopes to make moviegoers return to theaters. And as always, keep watching.